Greetings everyone! This is Timer 777 coming live from my house. It looks like, well, we're not going to play anything today, but I'm going to show you the research for Sins of the Solar Empire. I got the first game, a good couple of years ago, and I loved it, so I got Rebellion. I'm not gonna really be playing anything, but I just want to show you the research of the race that I'm going to be playing as, if I do decide to play this, the TEC. To be more specifically, TEC Rebels. Alright, now for specific things, the TEC is an acronym for Trader Emergency Coalition. They're not exactly as advanced as the other two races, especially not the best way, but they do utilize heavily armored units, ships, hull is how much life they've got. Once that goes to zero, it blows up. Shields are your first line of defense, but it's not very advanced on the TEC. Armor is where the TEC, what's the word? Specialize. They can get 6 extra points. So like if this ship's armor is 4, then whatever damage it takes to the hull is decreased by 4 points. So yeah, you got up to 1.5, up to 3, 4.5, 6. And if you got the right pact, which was introduced in Diplomacy, which also came with Rebellion, you can get the Armor Pact, which is really good for TC because it increases armor, increases health points, but what it's best is that the ships gain another 20 per armor point. So, if you can get to 8 here, so multiply 20 times 8. Here in the military tree, you got these 3 upgrades which increase max health points, hull repair rate, and that's it for everything. These 2 upgrades are for shields. As you can see, there's only 2, and you can get up to 20% for both max shield points and shield regeneration rate. Oh, by the way, when you get up the top here at expert damage control, max health points is increased by 30%. Hull repair rate is up to 30% also. Advanced maneuvering is a useful one. It increases the turn rate of Titans and capital ships by 15%. Here is antimatter regeneration, which you're going to be saying, which is kind of crucial to a lot of ships. At the max level, you can get a 20% increase in max antimatter and 20% increase in antimatter regeneration. Here we have upgrades for autocannons. By the way, the ones that are glowing like high order explosives is exclusive to the faction that you're playing. So like TC Rebels, you got high order explosives which increase autocannons, high emitters which increase lasers, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Max level, this is where it's supposed to end. You can get the 30% damage increase to autocannons. If you're Rebels, you can get the 40%. Lasers are not the TEC's main means of attack, but all the capital ships use it, as well as the starbase and a fair amount of frigates. So I kind of question that. You can get the 20% or 25% if you're TEC Rebels. This one grants heavy fallout to cross-out siege frigates. I'll get to those later. And, well, whatever planets they bombard have reduced population growth for a fair amount of time. High yield warheads, maximum level you can get 30% increase in damage from bombardment weapons. Alright, missile weapons, but in order to do that you need to get the job list. Refined missile avionics, cyclotorite payload. You can get up to 30% increase in damage, or if you TC Rebels and you research this, you can get up to 40%. Along with extended range missiles. which at max level increases range of missiles by 12%. But let me tell you something. In the first game, yeah, missiles, I don't know why they put so many missiles in the game. Missile upgrades for the game. Alright, so, Titans were not introduced, Starbases were not introduced, all are upgraded from 1, 2, 3, 4 missile upgrades, but the Do-Not Battlecruiser, the Martha Dreadnought, the Jobless, LRM Frigate, and the Bomber. Not that many, huh? Well, why did they put 4 upgrades for missiles for 4 ships? I don't know. It's dumb. It's what it was. It's dumb. Okay. Oh, by the way, this fails at jump plotting. It's really not that useful if you don't use our Kovas scout frigates, because it prevents, it makes them immune to the phase jump disruption, phase jump inhibitor, which slows phase jumps by 700%. I mean, it takes like a whole minute for them to jump out, and that can mean the difference between victory and defeat. I mean, that would be a lot of ships destroyed. Well, as long as you got a big enough fleet, you don't need to worry about that. About having to run. Oh, by the way, in Rebellion, or maybe in Trenchant, I don't know, I found these out in Rebellion. These increase beam weapons, and if you got spare resources, go ahead and upgrade them. You get a damage increase in the Coal Battleship and Star Races, or if you're TEC loyalists, it also increases damage of their Titan. So that's really only 2, maybe 3 upgrades for beams. Okay, down here is experimental design, which unlocks new ships and abilities. Or some other things, like a repair platform. Alright, Jobless. I'll get the ships in some other episode. Cluster Warheads. An ability for the Jobless increases damage as well as grants splash damage, and is also necessary for warhead splintering. Repair platform. With your ability, you can increase the amount of hull repairs for your ships. If you upgrade superior repair bots, repair platform normally starts 20 per second. You upgrade this once, you get 30. Upgrade it, you max it out, you get 40. Hoshikos are very, very important to myself. Might be to you too. It may not be specialized in combat, but it can repair your ships, and if you get the right upgrade, demolition bots, it can launch little robots to attach the ships and blow up. Not to blow the ship up, but to make the bots blow up. Which, if it's a frigate or cruiser, it disables it disables weapons. But if it's any other ship, it just does, I think, 75 points of damage and slows them down. Does not disable weapons. Here is the Stellate Corvette, which is basically a heavier, stronger fighter. It's about as fast as it too. Excuse me. But every faction has a Corvette, and the race, they're about the same. They're about the same. It's just every Corvette has like an ability that can cripple ships, that can stack a couple times. Like a Steel Corvette, it can cripple defenses, which increase the amount of damage a ship takes by about 5%. Stacks up to 5 times, so that could be 25% damage increase. And in TEC Loyalist, it just cripples engines, and I really have not played a lot of the O2 races, so I don't know about that. Cross up Sea Frigate. Time explosives. Unless you're going to use Arcomas a lot, don't bother getting it. Excuse me. Guard of Prototype, Light Carrier, Ogros, Dangerous Ships Destructors. Sabotage Reactor. If you're getting gold bolts, which you probably should, they can be mass produced and they're cost efficient. This allows them to steal let me phrase that, to destroy antimatter of enemy ships that use antimatter. Codename prototype, intercept. This is not a important upgrade, but it is a nice one if you're going to use Kodiak. It allows them to get up to maximum speed near instantly, increases acceleration by 800%, and top speed by 200%. Celios, and then designate targets. Celios gain the ability to designate target, which instead of all ships targeting it, like it may seem like, it increases the amount of damage that ship takes by 40%. Here is where all these are the Ragnarok prototypes. You need to research these in order to build the Ragnarok. The Ragnarok is the ultimate ship of destruction. We'll get to that in a later episode. Defense. Quick Gauss capacitors. Increases the rate of fire of Gauss cannons, as well as the Ragnarok. Highly conductive rails increases the range of Gauss defense platforms, as well as the Titan's Gauss guns. Burst rockets. Burst rockets. Grants the burst rockets ability to Gauss defense platforms, allowing them to engage multiple targets simultaneously. Short range rocket barrages. Makes a volt cannon is the exact opposite. Instead of a bunch of smaller missiles that target multiple ships at once, this thing launches a powerful shot at one ship that does a lot of damage and decreases their armor. Planetary shields. This thing, ever since the star bases and the proxy government came about, this thing has really lost use. Apparently, if you got enough of them, if you got one, it can decrease the amount of damage taken by it decreases the amount of planets. It increases the amount of bombardment damage taken to the planet that it's on. Hangar defense. I don't find a lot of use for these anymore. They garrison strike craft to defend the planet, but it only houses 2, so that kind of limits its use. Hangar flak turrets. It can help. It provides anti-strike craft weapons coverage within a moderate range. It has auto cannons that apparently does 80 points of damage. I'm not so sure if that's just strike craft or any other ship, but I'm thinking it's just strike craft because 80 points of damage is almost as much as the Ragnarok. Proximity mines. The way you deploy mines varies between race. The TEC, you just build them around. You just build them. Yeah, you go to the technical slot structures and you build them. Raylog's prototype. This allows you to This allows you to construct star bases, which are really big, expensive structures that can defend the planet almost single-handedly. Deep space trade. This allows you to build space trades on space trading facilities on your star bases. Hey, hello. However, this does take up 1, maybe 2, of the 8 upgrade slots you can put on star bases. And if you're intending on guarding a planet, do not get this. But if you do get it, you can get a bigger income increase than if you just build a regular trade port. And you don't take up logistic structures. Remote construction is the exact same as the frigate factory. First upgrade constructs frigates and cruisers at a very slightly slower rate than the frigate factory. Well, if you upgrade second time, you get 175%, which frigate factories construct at 100%. 75% increase. But like the trade facilities, it takes up upgrade spots. Proxy governments, really important if you're funding a TEC guy in a big map, and you got asteroids. Then you colonize asteroids, because No doubt, undoubtedly, if you're getting into the later game, you're gonna get bombarded by noble with guns. This prevents loss from asteroids because you cannot you can't get their health very high. So instead of wasting resources on building emergency facilities, just build this. And as long as you'll never lose your plant to bombardment. However, you can lose it to culture. But regardless, no matter what, the enemy will never be able to colonize it unless they destroy the starbase, which is gonna take a while. Because yeah, they can take a beating. I already showed you a face destruction, but this is what it does. Wait, haven't I already said that? I'll say it again. Yeah, I've already said that. Safety override protocol. This thing can be really dangerous to both you and your opponent. You build it once, maybe twice onto a star base, and when it gets down to low health, it blows up! Dishing out, it'll destroy pretty much anything around it, whether it be you or your opponent. So it's not a good idea building on your planets, but if you got it like at a dead asteroid or star, this can be really dangerous, because if they're focusing their fire on it, unless there's really long range, they're gonna go down with it. Even Titans can go down with it. Docking homes. Organized repair platform and antimatter regeneration combined. It allows them to repair and refill the antimatter reserves in nearby friendly forces. Unbreakable hull. This increases the max hull point increase by 20% at the max level for star bases, as well increasing armor by 4. It's windy out there, wow. Increase the stabilization. You see, apparently every star base has this ability. Whenever an enemy ship, jumps out of gravity well with a starbase, it loses some hull and all of its antimatter. Normally it's around 30% loss of hull and 100% antimatter. With this, it's 50% hull. I'm sounding pretty excited about this, aren't I? Well, can you blame me? This is an awesome game! Advanced fire control. This can be really dangerous. It not only increases damage of starbase weapons, but allows them to target an additional target per weapon bank. You can get laser banks firing on more than one target at once, beam weapons to fire more than one target, and missiles fire more than one target. I think that's everything here. Civilian. Sorry, kind of hard to breathe in this mess. Now, here is the increase in metal extraction. You can get up to 40%. Same thing with crystal, up to 40%. Now, being that the TEC specialize in trading, you can get trade ports a lot sooner. Along with orbital refinement, which allows you to build refineries to go to asteroids, resource asteroids, and get a little bit of extra boost in resources. Trade ports are the exact opposite. Instead of resources, you get more credits. Huge cargo holds, up to 50% increase in cargo hold in trade ships and refinery ships, which I haven't really seen how much they can hold. But it does increase the amount they hold, which in turn increases how much resources you get from each refinery and each trade port. Men's cargo holds are the exact same, it just increases it more, up to 30%. Pervasive economy. Oh, I like this one. It can really get you a lot of money. Well, that's it. I'm thinking, I've seen it work, I just don't know what triggers it. Not positive what triggers it. Sale to credit conversion, which I'm guessing that whenever they buy something or sell something on the black market, you get 10, maybe 20 if you max this research out, percent of the credits they spend. However, this does not negate the amount they get. You just get part of it. Trade is 8%. I think it's 15% if you max it out. Industrial juggernaut, due to the fact that they are really good at building stuff. This increases ship build rate increase up to 50% at the frigate factory, devil ship factory, and perhaps, if you got it, the Titan foundry. That's the industry. Engineering. Sensor drones. This grants the probability to Arcova scout frigates, which I used a lot in the first game, but I've kind of lost interest in it. Research it twice, and you can get Arcovas to deploy sensor drones and spawn the enemy planet for 900 seconds. That's a long time. Arctic explosion allows you to colonize ice planets. Volcanic explosion is the exact same except, well, volcanic planets. Advanced Arctic colonies. Increases max population increase up to 50% on ice planets. Advanced high density zoning and advanced civic design increases up to 30%. Has a 30% increase, possible 30% increase for Terran planets if you research this all the way. Improves arid colonies. Up to 50% increase on deserts. Long range jumps. Not important if you got more than one star. Let me rephrase that. Not important if you don't have more than one star. However, if you do have 2 stars, unless you got something that can connect planet to planet, you're gonna need this. That's just the only way to mobilize from one star to the next. I don't mean that literally. You got V in the star in order to jump to the next star. Modular architecture. Unless you're gonna build a lot of frigate factories, tight capture factories, so on and so forth. Battleship frigate factory, battleship factory, and Titan foundry get a maximum of 40% discounts, which is really useful for Titan foundry because it already costs 2,000 credits. I'm not too sure about metal and crystal, but you can get the 1,200 credits at the bottom and still not sure about metal and crystal. Like all races, you get some sort of face signature detection. With the first upgrade here, you can get a warning for when they're coming at you. This allows you to get from dual phase jumps away from your planets. However, similar to cheaters that they are, the best way you can get detections over the whole map. I hate that theory. They are big, fat cheaters. They can get both metal and crystal in the same upgrade. I mean, they drive me nuts. And interstellar networks. This allows you to build broadcast centers. And I never really considered this a very important until I lost a game because of culture. Because they can overthrow planets due to culture. I never realized what a lethal weapon was until I lost that game. Now I always spread it. With these 2 upgrades, increases culture spread and antimatter is stored in culture. Insurgency is dangerous, unless you're TEC rebel. You see, if you research this twice, you periodically suffer attacks from rebel forces. Normally a couple Kodiaks and some other ships. Unless you got a starbase or some good defensive structures, these can cause a lot of damage. Or sabotage. Unless you're gonna build like broadcast centers, this might not be too useful. But if you are, this can be dangerous. The planets that are affected by the TEC propaganda will suffer at max 100% enemy build rate, which means that's double the amount That's double how long they build stuff. Expedited permits. This basically just increases structure build rates. At maximum, I guess he's coming. At 33%. Build war chest. Exclusive to the TEC rebels. Whenever you bombard planets, each bomb will give you 1 credit. That may not seem like much, but that's a lot. Savage Thrill. I never really figured out how this truly activates, but it says Fury overtakes the fleet as it bombs enemy planets, granting ships a faster rate of fire and an increase to weapon damage. It may not say it, but you must bomb planets in order to get a 15% rate of fire increase, 15% damage increase. So, while you're fine, maybe you should have 1 siege frigate with you. Your fleet can try to take on the enemy fleet while your corrosive siege frigate bombs the enemy planet and get that boost. Oh, this requires the Interstellar Networks. Critical mass, which culture rate loss decrease, which means that once it's going down, once your culture's being pushed back, this decreases the rate it's being pushed back. Up to 50%. Development map mandate. This can be really useful. Whenever you research it, it gives you the ability to build another logistic structure. That can be really useful. I know. Civilian Ship Safety Act. Not needed unless you are sending civilian ships, meaning trade ships, refinery ships, and construction frigates, through enemy territory. Otherwise, it's probably not needed. Favored client discount. You're no doubt going to be using the black market a lot, and this can be super useful. It's, at maximum, can decrease cost of buying metal and crystal by 15%. Catastrophe recovery. Whenever your planet is bombed and it survives, at maximum, I think it's like 30% increase in health regain. Basic crew training. If you're going to use a lot of capital ships, this is useful. Or if you just got a lot of capital ships, this is also useful. You can train capital ships with credits up to level 4. You can already get to level 3, but if you get this, you can get into level 4. And I looks like that's everything here. Diplomacy. Oh! Naruto prototype. Grants access to Naruto. Blah blah. This is your diplomatic pistol. When it's in an allied's gravity well, it increases relations, which if you get the right upgrades, this can benefit you greatly. Worthy cause. This can be really useful. Naruto in an allied's gravity well, it can use this ability to reduce structure costs in order to boost relations. Arbitrate tariff. This boosts trade and refinery ship income that pass through the gravity well. Settlers. This can be useful. This increases local planets' population, all in orbit. By a certain amount, like to increase tax. Cultural relations, cultural affinity, and cultural mastery increases relationship bonus, self-relationship bonus, which can be useful. Bounty hunting grants the ability to offer missions to opposing factions. Universal negotiation allows you to offer and demand gifts of credits, metal, and crystal from other factions. Political kickbacks. I haven't really seen this much in action, but if you give credits to your ally, you can get a boost in relations. You know, all factions have this, but Vassary get a boost in metal, and Advent get a boost in crystal. Truce amongst rogues. Not very useful if you've got not very useful unless you got pirates on. In which case, you strike a peace treaty between pirates and neutral factions on unguarded planets to not fight anymore. You can pass through them without being shot at. And if you're getting your butt beat by the enemy fleet, then if there's a pirate base nearby, you can always hide out there. Because if you play this game, pirates have some major defenses. Alright, mercenaries. I used this once, but I don't really feel it's a big problem with it. Everyone thinks that it's a big waste of credits because they only get 4 ships, but I've got more. You can spend 5,000 credits, which actually is a lot, to get pirate ships to help you out. Backroom deals. This allows you to offer missions to pirate factions. You do not require Crucial rogues in order to get this. Efficiency pact. Well, if you got enough, I'll get to that later. Extreme xenophobia. This is just like critical mass, except it increases your resistance to another 20%. Skilled diplomats. I don't really know what this is supposed to be, but apparently if you complete missions, you get more. You can get a relationship increase, and if you lose them, you get a decrease in relationship. Labor negotiations. It increases ship and structure build time by another 15%. Liberated resistance, also exclusive to the TEC rebels. It requires 1 point insurgency, and whenever you take out an enemy planet, like you reduce the like you completely destroy it, it's no longer under enemy control. You get a bunch of ships on your capital planet. Alright, now. Oh, that's not it. Now, when your relationship with another faction is high enough, you can offer pacts, or they can offer you pacts. The pacts vary between race. Note that you can't get them at the same time. You can have TC rebels and loyalists and get the same upgrades. Sadly, trade pact. You trade and refinery ships. They get a boost in income. It also increases their hull by 10% and armor by 2. Efficiency fact. This will increase structure and ship build rate for both races, for both factions, by 10%. Not that all these increase both of you. Armor pact, really useful for I already talked about this one. Siege pact. If you want Savage Drill, I recommend that you don't increase bombing, but if you're allied with someone, you can go ahead and get this for them. Because it increases bombing damage, increases population killed by each bomb, and somehow it increases bombing range. It also decreases the amount you take by 10%. But if you want the Savage Drill, I don't recommend you get this because the longer you take, the longer the bonus is. Thruster pack. Turn rate increase for capital ships is increased by 10, and acceleration is increased by 10. Supply pack, really useful. Increases the maximum supply, but what really makes it shine is the fact that it decreases the upkeep for the amount of ships you got. Because as you want more ships, you're gonna need to upgrade these, and that increases upkeep, which means you're gonna get more credit, metal, and crystal. Early game, like when you get basic positioning and standardized depots, you can actually lower it below 0, so you're actually getting more. Well, in all honesty, what are the odds that you're going to get all the way over here before you need more ships past here? But still, it's very useful. Alright. that's all of the research for TEC ripples. So, like and favorite if you enjoyed, subscribe to join the song consortium today, and I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll do capital ships and motion for TEC. Bye bye.